Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this lesson. Today I am going to discuss on the topic which is really a very interesting topic and you will enjoy it. It is The Tempest, Act 1, Scene 1, written by William Shakespeare. This is for my ISC student. In this lesson, I will discuss line by line explanation of the act. So here I begin. And before that, let me ask you, have you subscribed to my channel? And if you have not subscribed up till now, then please do and watch the video till end and press the like button if you have liked it. So children, let us start with Act 1, Scene 1 of Tempest by William Shakespeare. A tempestuous noise of thunder and lightning heard. Enter a master and boatswain. So this is a tempest created by Ariel. Enter a shipmaster and a boatswain. Actually, the pronunciation is boatswain and not boatswain. He is an officer, head of the mariners. Master boatswain. Boatswain. Here, master, what cheer? So he wants to know what is his orders. Master. Good. Speak to the mariners. Fall to it yarely, or we run ourselves aground. Bister, bister. So the master gives him order that it's good that you are quite alert. And he tells the boatswain that tell your sailors that they should be alert and they should be ready to carry out the orders quickly because there is a danger. They are in the peril of the ship, getting driven in shallow waters. In that case, it will get stuck. And then, bister, bister means hurry up, hurry up. Stir means move. So, saying this, the captain, the master leaves. Enter mariners. Boatswain, hey my hearts, cheerly, cheerly, my hearts, yere, yere, take in the topsail. Tend to the master's whistle, to the storm as if he is challenging the storm. Blow till thou burst thy wind, if room enough. So he is telling, inspiring, he is inspiring, he is the master, the officer of the mariners. He is filling them with confidence, cheering them up. So he is telling them to bug up. My brave fellows, bug up. Yare, yare, take in the topsail. So he is telling, come on men, that's the way you do it. Quickly, quickly, take in the upper sail. And tend to the master's whistle means listen to the master's order or pay attention to the whistle coming from the master, because when the master blows his whistle, must be he is giving some orders and then he is challenging the storm. Blow till thou burst thy wind, if room enough. So he is telling that, O storm, you may blow as hard as you can, as hard as you wish, and because there is enough sea room, so blow as much as you can, and as we have enough room to avoid running aground. Now who enters? The famous people in the ship. Enter Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Ferdinand, Gonzalo and others. Alonso. Good boatswain, have care. Where is the master? Play the man. So he is quite polite in his manner. So he is telling that be careful. And then he inquires about the master of the ship, or rather we can call the captain of the ship. He is asking where is he, and play the men means be brave and make these men work. Boatswain, I pray now keep below, but boatswain is not in a mood to show his polite manners and respect to the king because they are in danger. And this is not the time to talk and show respect, but this is the time to fight tempest. So he says, I pray now keep below. I request you go down. Go to the cabin, remain below. Please stay below deck, sir. Antonio, where is the master bosun? Who is asking this? Antonio. He is rude. Antonio and Sebastian. These are the two rude people. Bosun, do you not hear him? You are mar our labor. Keep your cabins. You do assist the storm. So he is naturally very angry. Already he has told the king that go below. And if he can speak to the king like this, then who is this the king of Milan? He is telling, don't you hear the master shouting out for orders? You are spoiling mar is the opposite word for make. You mar our labors means you are spoiling our labor. If we are laboring it but you are spoiling it, you are getting in the way of work. Keep your cabin means go away, go back to your cabin. That is, stay in your cabin means they talk, then they get distracted. They can't give their full force and full attention to their task, and they are doing at this moment, so naturally they are irritated. You do assist the storm in means you are coming and troubling us. You are helping the storm, not us. Gonzalo. Nay, good, be patient. Gonzalo, the polite man. So he says, my good person, good fellow, be patient. Don't get wound up. Bosun, when the sea is. So Bosun says, yes, I will be patient when the sea is. Let the sea become patient first, then only I will be patient. Hence, what cares these rowers for the name of the king? To cabin, silence, trouble us not. So these rowers means these high waves, those roaring waves, do they care for the name of the king? These are agents of nature. They follow the orders of God. They are not afraid of the king. Do they care for the king? So go back to your cabin and don't make any noise. Be silent and don't trouble us anymore. So Bosun says that I am only wound up because the sea is wound up. So get out of here. Do you think these waves care anything about the kings and officials? Go to your cabins and be quiet. Don't bother us up here. Gonzalo. Good. Yet remember who thou hast aboard. Yes, that's all right. But don't forget who are the important royalties you have. Royal people you have in your ship. Don't forget that. So just remember who you have got on board with you. Bosun. None that I more love than myself. So just see, he is rude at its height because they are fighting a real danger. They are fighting a real peril. Their life is at risk. So this is not the time to show the formalities and politeness. So he says, there is no one in the ship whose life I care more than mine. That means, to me, my life is much more important than any other. So if I do anything, I will do for the sake of my life only, to save my life only. You are a counselor. If you can command these elements to silence and work the peace of the present, we will not hand a rope more. Use your authority. So he says, You are a counselor. You are accustomed to giving orders. So, why don't you order the storm to be subdued? Why don't you try to calm the weather at this moment? If you can do it, then we are not going to hand any more rope. Means we give up the task. You yourself give orders to the storm and tell it to be subdued, and we don't need to work anymore. If you cannot give thanks, you have lived so long, and make yourself ready in your cabin for the mischance of the hour. If it so happens, then he talks to the mariners cheerily. Good hearts, out of your way, I say. Then this is again to the king and his men. So what does he tell? If you cannot use your power to subdue the storm, then go back to your cabins and thank God that you have at least lived up till now. And go back to your cabin and wait for the ultimate thing to happen. Wait for the misfortune to take place. And then, if it takes place, if we are unable to fight the tempest, then the unfortunate thing will happen. So wait for it. And then he turns to his mariners and says, Cheerly, good hearts, out of our way. I say again, he scolds these people to get lost. So Bosun says, Nobody I care about more than myself. You are a king's advisor. If you can order the storm to calm down, we can all put down our ropes and rest. Go ahead. Use your authority. If you can't do it, be grateful that you have lived this long and go wait to die in your cabin. If it comes to that, harder men, now get out of our way, I'm telling you. Then Bosun exit. Gonzalo, I have great comfort from this fellow. Methinks he hath no drowning mark upon him. His complexion is a perfect gallows. Stand fast, good fate, to his hanging. So at this moment, he has some humor in it. He says, looking at him, I am very comforted, because whom does he refer to? To Bosun. He says, I don't see any drowning marks on the face of this man, and his complexion is a perfect gallows. So, this man's appearance and face shows that he should die by hanging. Abusive to the king, if they survive, he should die by hanging. So, he doesn't have any drowning mark. If Bosun doesn't drown, it's good for them, because then all these people will be saved. And if he has the mark of gallows, that means after the king survives, he will sentence him to death for being abusive to him. Stand fast, good fate, to his hanging. Make the rope of his destiny our cable. For our own doth little advantage. If he not born be hanged, our case is miserable. So he is calling upon fate, and he is saying, Fate, don't change the manner of his death. Just see that he dies on account of hanging. See that he is hanged, because if he dies on account of hanging, the rope with which we will be hanged, that is, the rope which will help us to survive this storm. If this man is not to die of hanging, then we are surely going to be drowned. So saying this, Gonzalo exits with his courtiers, that is, the other men of the court, and again Bosun enters. It's the time it is an emergency situation. They are rushing here and there and trying to save the ship from the tempest. Bosun, down with the topmast, yea, lower, lower, bring her to try with the main course. So then he orders to bring down the topmast and then lowers it still further, a little lower, and keep it close to the wind. So to the main course. Then suddenly he hears a cry coming from within. Maybe in the cabin, someone had cried out of fear because he had thought that he was going to die. Someone, it may be the king's men. Someone was crying, who we are not told. Loud cry is heard. A plague upon this howling. They are louder than the weather of our life, of weather or our office. So Bosun is very angry when he hears the howling. Why? Because these howlings and cryings will dampen the spirit. They will also get frightened. They will become sad, thinking on the impending doom. So he curses them. A plague here means the curse. A plague upon this howling, and this howling is louder than the tempest or my voice. Enter Sebastian, Antonio, and Gonzalo. Then he sees them and he becomes all the more angry yet again. What do you hear? I have told you to go back to your cabin, and you have come here again? What do you hear? Shall we give order and drown? Have you a mind to sing? So he is going on without thinking that in normal times he wouldn't have dared to speak or say in this manner. All of them were dignitaries. One of them is the king's brother. Another is the Duke of Milan. And the third is a counselor. But at this moment, he knows that this is not the time for protocols and showing respects. So, have you come here again? What are you doing here? Do you want that we should give up our struggle and drown? Do you want to be drowned? So, Sebastian, the king's brother, how can he tolerate such abusive treatment? So he says, a pox on your throat, you boiling blasphemous, incharitable dog. So may your throat be afflicted with the horrible disease, because you are shouting at us. Means, how dare you shout at us? May you be afflicted with the disease, so that you are unable to speak. You are a howling, unfeeling dog. Bosun, work you then. So he says, well, you get to work then. And I'm leaving. Antonio, hang, you Wes Hosen. Insolent noisemaker, we are less afraid to be drowned than thou art. So when Bosun says, if you are saying all this, no problem, I hand over the charge to you and you can do the work. Then Antonio is equally abusive now, like Sebastian, and he says, you are the son of a whore. May you be hanged, and you dog, where cur means a dog. 16th century, and Shakespeare's favorite word. Even you must have noticed that in Standard 10th ICSE in Merchant of Venice, Shylock had been referred to as a curse several times. So here, Bosun is being referred to as a curse. So may you dog be hanged, son of a whore be hanged, and we are less afraid to die than you. Gonzalo, I will warrant him for drowning, though the ship were no stronger than a nutshell and as a leaky as unstanched wench. So Gonzalo says that I am giving you the assurance or a guarantee that this fellow will not drown, even if the ship was not stronger than a nutshell. This is a royal ship, so it is very strong. Even if it were not stronger or bigger than a nutshell, then also he would not have been drowned. Bosun. Lay her a hold, set her two courses off to sea again, lay her off. So these are the marine terms. He is still giving orders that keep the ship to the wind as close as possible, and then set her foresail and then her mainsail as to carry her off to sea again. He does not want to get stuck into the shallow water, stir her away from the shore. So he says to turn the ship to the wind and set the sail and let her go out to sea again. Enter more mariners wet. Mariners, all lost. Two prayers, all lost. So, all lost, that means, should we be drowned? So he says, pray for your lives. We are done for. Exit mariners. Bosun, what must our mouths be cold? What? Are we going to die? Gonzalo, the king and prince at prayers. Let's assist them, for our case is theirs. So Gonzalo tells that the king, that means Alonso, and the prince, that is Ferdinand, they are praying. So let us go and join them in prayers, because we are all suffering the same fate. Since whatever happens to them happens to us too. Our case is similar to theirs. Sebastian, I am out of patience. So he says he has lost his patience. He has become quite reckless or desperate. Antonio, we are merely cheated of our lives by drunkards. So Antonio starts the blame game. He is blaming Bosun, in spite of the fact that Bosun had done his best to save the ship along with his mariners, but they could not succeed. Why? Because it was Ariel and his magic. The white-chopped rascal, would thou mightiest lie drowning the washing of 10 tides? So white-chopped rascal here means that wide-mouthed rascal. He blames him for the whole thing, and may you, he just curses himself. He just curses himself that I wish you drown till your body is laid 10 times. So he says that if we have been cheated out of our lives by a bunch of drunken, incompetent sailors, this big mouth here to Bosun, I hope you drown 10 times over, Gonzalo. He will be hanged yet, though every drop of water swear against it and gape at widest to glut him. So Gonzalo says that this man means Bosun is going to be hanged and not die of drowning. This man, it is his destiny, even though every drop of water in the ocean can swear it to the contrary, and the waters of the sea are coming to swallow him up. In spite of it, he has the gallows mark of death on him, and it is not drowning. A confused noise within, voices within. Mercy on us, we split, farewell. My wife and children, farewell, brother. We split. And then suddenly there comes a noise from inside, and he realizes that their end is near. So may God have mercy on us. We are going to be soon drowned, as the ship is going to be soon wrecked, and we will be dust to pieces. So goodbye, my children, goodbye, my wife, goodbye, brothers. we all will be separated, as the ship is soon going to be damaged and destroyed into pieces. Antonio, let us all sink with the king. So Antonio says that let us all be drowned with the king. Sebastian, let us take the leave of him. So he says, let us say goodbye to him. So Antonio and Sebastian, they decide to go and join the king and take his permission in their last hours. So Sebastian and Antonio, they go to join the king. Gonzalo, now would I give 1,000 furlongs of sea for an acre of barren ground? Long heath, brown furze, anything the wills above be done, but I would fain die a dry death. So at this moment, Gonzalo says that he is prepared to give away 1,000 furlongs of sea in exchange for an acre of land, even if the land is barren. No problem. Means I can give you 1,000 furlongs of sea in exchange for what you give me an acre of land. So this is hardly a bargain or deal, but he is ready to take land because he doesn't want to die on account of drowning. So he is ready to exchange that 1,000 furlongs sea for 1 acre of land, even if it is barren, even if it is a furze land, no problem. If it is full of thickets, no problem. Even if the land is brown, without devoid of vegetation, then also no problem. So let the wills of God be carried on. Let the powers of heaven do what they wish. But I would fain die a dry death. But he would prefer to die on land, dry land, and not a watery death. He would not want to lie on the beds of the sea. Rather, he would prefer to die or face his death on an acre of barren land or dry land. So that is where our Act 1 Scene 1 comes to an end. Many times you are given an importance of sea in Act 1 Scene 1. You can get an essay type question on it. I hope there is no problem in understanding this lesson. So dear children, with these words I end my lesson. Do like, share and subscribe my channel and press the like button if you have liked it, and share it with your friends. Many of them may need it. As you know children, Tempest is quite tough. So today my journey of ISC literature of Tempest starts. Wait for many more to come, as it will be a long journey with the novel, prose, poetry. Hope it will be beneficial for you in your studies. Thank you.